Katt Williams reveals why Chris Tucker's career really ended. I'm trying to think when they say ended, because Chris Tucker has done a lot. But what was his last? I'm trying to think what his last thing was. Was it Rush Hour? Hopefully Chris Tucker's in here, because I really ain't seen nothing on him saying anything. So we'll see. Appreciate all the love and support with you guys coming over. We ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker. Nice. If I didn't know no better, I'd tell you he's the greatest.
Turns out Williams may not have been lying about Chris Tucker having a history with the very controversial Epstein, and the confirmation came from the actor himself.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God.
You know, we flew.
But the big question is, why is this even such a big deal? Well, here's why.
The day many high-profile figures may have been dreading has happened, as dozens of big names have been revealed in the first wave of late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Tell me, how many times have you seen someone star in a movie franchise that broke all the records for years and even had installments to it, get up and leave the entertainment industry without looking back? Not a lot. Well, this was Chris Tucker's story. Initially, we thought his decision to exit Hollywood came from a place of touching the highest of heights, which made sense since he had his face on the covers of major productions. But Katt Williams has just revealed that we might not have been entirely correct. It seems having the type of success he did opened him up to a world of access to all the deepest secrets of the entertainment industry. And if we're to take Williams's word for it, this site might have been too ugly for Tucker to handle. To most people, when the name Chris Tucker comes up, the first thing that usually comes to mind is, for those that do know him well enough, is stand-up. For others who might not know his history well enough, Rush Hour is the first thought. Well, the thing that both sides have in common is that they're aware he became immensely successful in both professional pursuits, especially considering that decades after, his stand-up shows and his movie with actor Jackie Chan are still getting views like they aren't from an entirely different generation. And while his Rush Hour partner went on to star in an almost endless list of movies, Tucker decided to hang his boots. This singular move from this global superstar has left several people, fans and fellow celebrities alike, with questions about what makes a man with that much potential in front of him decide not to pursue it. This conversation has already gone back and forth on social media, with people claiming that the most probable reason for his decision was that he already made more money than he could ever need off of the projects he already made. This, if we're to believe what Katt Williams has just said, couldn't be further from the truth. It seems Tucker realized that the perception he had of Hollywood coming up in the industry was miles away from his reality when he became one of the big names himself. Now, many people may be hesitant about believing Williams' side of this story because, let's face it, he doesn't exactly have a history of staying out of controversy. But what tips the scales slightly in his favor is that the claims he made about Tucker already have their foundation in published reports involving several of the biggest names in the industry, and even the world at large.
Only 40 of an expected 250 documents have been released so far, but Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, Stephen Hawking, Donald Trump and Michael Jackson are already among the names made public.
Throughout the years, several people have told us that the entertainment industry isn't really what it poses to be on the outside to people who aren't there. And more times than not, we've doubted these claims. These days, they aren't just claims anymore. Several pieces of evidence have been coming out to confirm the stories. And in the spirit of revelations being made, it seems Chris Tucker might have known a lot more about the dark side of this industry than he'd been letting up. Tucker's rise to fame was nothing short of a wild roller coaster ride.
I'll be asking the questions, old man. Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I'm...
He originally became a frequent guest on the legendary Def Comedy Jam in 1992, showcasing his exceptional, clean stand-up comedy routines. Unlike many comedians of the time who relied on vulgar humor, Tucker's comedic style was a breath of fresh air, witty, sharp, and family-friendly. It wasn't long before Tucker's talent caught the attention of the silver screen. In 1994, he made his film debut in House Party 3, rubbing shoulders with the likes of Bernie Mac, Marquez Houston, and Condi Alexander. But it wasn't until much later that Tucker would get to a point he could truly leave a mark with one of his most notable and side-splitting performances on Friday, among others. However, the man seemingly exited the limelight with the same speed it took him to get in. And according to Katt Williams, this might have been tied to him getting exposed to the dark side of the industry. Williams suggested that Tucker had traveled to convicted S-offender Jeffrey Epstein's island, where the late financier was running an ST ring with partner Ghislaine Maxwell. In a new viral interview on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay, the Friday After Next star spoke about why it would be hard to make another Friday movie due to the many great people that have passed on since the original films. However, Williams said Tucker, who is still alive, is no longer the same person he was when he originally portrayed Smokey in the 1995 cult classic. And the Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island's Chris Tucker, not Smokey, Williams said.
The Chris Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
What makes Katt's story seem far from a lie is that there were also dozens of high-profile names that appeared in the previously sealed court documents related to Epstein, which featured the names of over 170 associates of the convicted ST. For those who may not have been aware, ever since billionaire Jeffrey Epstein was arrested on July 6th on charges of ST, the media have been scrambling to make sense of what happened on Little St. James, his 70-acre private island in the Caribbean. But on nearby St. Thomas, locals say Epstein continued to bring underage girls to the island as recently as this year, a decade after he was forced to register as a convicted SO, and that authorities did nothing to stop him. Two employees who worked at the local airstrip on St. Thomas tell Vanity Fair that they witnessed Epstein boarding his private plane on multiple occasions in the company of girls who appeared to be under the age of consent. According to the employees, the girls arrived with Epstein aboard one of his two Gulfstream jets. Between January 2018 and June 2019, previously published flight records show the jets were airborne at least 1 out of every 3 days. They stopped all over the world, sometimes for only a few hours at a time: Paris, London, Slovakia, Mexico, Morocco. When they left St. Thomas, the employees say they returned to airports near Epstein's homes in Palm Beach and New York City. On multiple occasions, I saw Epstein exit his helicopter, stand on the tarmac in full view of my tower, and board his private jet with children. Female children, says a former air traffic controller at the airstrip who asked to remain anonymous. One incident in particular really stands out in my mind because the girls were just so young. They couldn't have been over 16. Epstein looked very angry and hurled his jacket at one of them. They were also carrying shopping bags from stores, not on the island. I remember thinking, where in the world have they been shopping? According to the recently released documents, some of the celebrities whose names had come up for having been guests on the island ranged from powerful political figures all the way to some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry, including the likes of Leonardo DiCaprio, Donald Trump, and Michael Jackson, who, if I might add, Katt Williams revealed to have been
Man, when I used to work at the Staples Center back in the day, I used to talk to Leo DiCaprio all the time. All the time, because he sat on the court, but he used to come to my aisle to get down to his seat. And, you know, if you're watching the event, no one can go down to their seat. They have to wait. And it was small talk, but almost every Laker game when he was there, he would say, "What's up?" to me. And just, my whole thing is like, if you're on that island, you know what's going down. There's no way of escaping that. No way. Everybody who knew him knew what he was doing, and there's no way to escape that. You are connected for life. Not saying you did anything, but you know something.
best friends with Chris Tucker.
To be confident and not delusional is a real skill. Most of these confident people we see is really delusional.
Well, you don't think that?
Seeing as these people, who you could say ruled the entertainment industry at different points, were the ones mentioned, it's not far-fetched to think that Tucker might have landed an invite to the island since he was also at the top of his game back when he was still in it. Well, several fans seem to buy Williams' story, claiming that they had known something was fishy about Tucker even before now. One of these people wrote, "I've always thought Chris Tucker walking away from Smokey because he didn't want to be the poster child for smoking weed was so stupid, especially in the 90s00s. Others are saying Tucker is just one of many people on a black book and might not be as innocent of it all as we think." They wrote, "I'm telling y'all, some are surprised or still in denial, but Trump and his family have been in the black book, which was released a while ago and redacted. And yes, Chris Tucker is in it too. Damn." However, some fans also stood up to Tucker's defense, claiming that he didn't actually go there to partake in the dark activities. One person wrote, "Nah, we ain't doing that. Chris Tucker was Bill Clinton's friend. They did humanitarian work with Bono for a spell there. They just used Epstein's plane." I mean, if Chris Tucker really did go there for a completely different reason, I ask you, is it so unthinkable that the things he saw other big names in the industry indulge in might have been what sent him on his heels out of the industry? Most of his fans on the internet don't think it's entirely unlikely, but there are still so many levels to this story that raise even more questions. Nonetheless, what do you think? That's it for this video. Goodbye.
Friends with Bill Clinton? It's all coming out. I guess at the end of the day, the big question is, what is going to happen? Will there be any type of consequences? That's what we all want to know. Stay tuned, I guess, huh? Appreciate y'all coming over and watching. Peace out.